try that again. Three, two. Bloody hell, this better be good. Really? You wanna bug me right now about this? It's still recording too. Check, check, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check, check, 1 2. KEJS FM Lubbock. Check, check. So when I sit there and I think about the events in my life that try this again. When I think about the couple of people and places and events that kind of brightened up my childhood, one of them obviously was my friend Aaron Payne. And the second was created right here in this building right behind me. We're going to be going through today and taking a look at creative engineering, and we're going to be visiting with Aaron Fector, the creator of the Afire explosion. And for so many of y'all that are watching this documentary, you're probably just like, so what's the big deal about all this? Well, when you have your innocence taken away as a child and you didn't have a childhood, you latch on to every positive, happy memory that you can. And sometimes those memories are what keep you going. When you start going back and reflecting and like in my case, try to start healing from all the evil and the bad that happened to me growing up. So for me, this is, in some ways, nostalgia. It's reminiscing on positive times of the past, but at the same time, it's also some closure and some healing for me as well. So, this is just a big deal to me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. One of the problems we have from class is that
arm raises.
note that all the arm raises are going out. That's me.
Nope, if I told you what I was really going for, you'd probably all look at me like I'd lost my mind. But fortunately, a lot of my friends, they know what's up with me, and they think that they're like, you know what, this is awesome. Go have fun.
Well, I'm glad you're getting to do this today, and I hope you get to go to the beach tomorrow. And anyway, so this is the Moon Rocker show, and you can see the hole in the back that was torn into the backdrop when the building blew up. So, but we can repair it, and Andrea's going to do all that repairing. In fact, here it looks like Quasar's ears fell off.
Yeah, Andrea's not leaving till the show's repaired.
Yes, she's going to repair that show if she doesn't fall through the stage again. But of course, this show was made out of a Afire center stage, and that was because we had so many extra shows in 1985 after Showbiz quit developing Showbiz pizza places that we had to do something with our show. So we were working on an idea to recostume them and to create a new show, or try to create a new show that people might like. But animatronics had a kind of a bad rap back then, as it always has, and for one reason or another. And so people weren't buying it. So we made this one show, we brought it back here after we showed it at the IAAPA in 1985, and it's sat here ever since. So we'll get it working one of these days. We'll get it all fixed up and working again, so that at least the people who come in here for a tour will get to see this show running.
And the numbers of videos I think this was This was great.
Yes, in November of 2001, which was 3 months after the 9/11 disaster, we came out with this game because we felt like we had to have some way of memorializing the fight against terrorism in a humorous way. So here we had the Laden Basher, and we were out looking for Bin Laden. And nobody knew how long it was going to be before we actually found Bin Laden. But while we're looking for him, I bet we're going to find him in a hole in Afghanistan somewhere. And that's practically what we did. But look at who else we put in here. We had Saddam Hussein.
And he was found in a hole too.
Yes, he was, and he looked just like that when we found him, except he had a beard. And then we threw in, for good measure, we threw in Hitler.
Yeah, he was kind of found in a hole.
Yeah.
Granted, it was a man-made hole, but
that's right.
But.
So anyway, we just created this little game, and again, this was just one of those things I built on speculation, but nobody bought the game. We might have sold a few, but when the sales looked like they were going to be anemic, I decided not to manufacture the game. And because I create stuff, I create it on speculation. I hope that it'll sell, but if it doesn't, if it's not a big deal, I don't push it. I'm not like trying to sell something that doesn't automatically win people's hearts. So it just became a one-time device again. And I've got a lot.
I've seen an acetylene tank blow before, but they don't blow like that. I mean, usually when I've seen acetylene tanks blow, it's usually you just get a big chunk out of the side and that's it. It looks like maybe a 12 gauge shotgun had hit it. But when I first saw this, I looked at that and I was like, the amount of pressure that had to have built up to do that.
Yes, and that it released all at the same time. When it released all at the same time, it filled this building with gas, which caused the walls to expand and the roof to go up and the floor to cave in. And that entire wall back there you see, that white wall, that was blown out. So there was nothing there, it was just open to the outside. And there was another wall that was blown out over here. And that whole wall in the back over here, from there to there, that wall was pushed out about 6 inches.
Wow.
And the roof went up and came down approximately in the same place, but not exactly.
Not exactly.
Yeah. And I'll show you something funny. Oh, here's Click. There's a little Click. That's Uncle Clunk's bird.
Is that the one that's on eBay right now?
No, the one that's on eBay right now is in the back over here.
Back.
That's my last one. This is my extra one.
Ah.
So that's the one I'm going to keep. But this will show you. Take a look at that up there. This will show you a little bit about what the pandemonium was like in this building before everything settled down. The roof was up, things were flying around, and a bottle actually got caught between the rafters.
Wow. And that's the kind of stuff you only see like with tornadic activity that you'll see straws through telephone poles.
Yeah.
It takes that type of force. So that was some serious. I mean, that's a serious amount of force.
In the blast. In fact, that door that's missing, it was blown out from the inside.
From the inside?
Yes, this door was blown out this way. And the reason was because the shock wave went above the room. It hit that wall. There's a wall right on the other side of that wall, a cement wall. And it came back and just down through the ceiling. All the ceilings came down. These are all new ceiling tiles. So the ceilings came down, and the shock wave left the room. It went out that way, and it left through that door.
Wow.
And when it left through this door, it hit that wall. See the damage still in that wall over there?
Good gracious. And
it pushed that wall in. So So there was actually a zigzag. And after I saw the zigzag pattern, it helped me realize what actually happened in here. What actually happened is, when the gas left that bottle, it left at multiples of supersonic speeds. And what happens when anything travels at faster than the speed of sound? You get a sonic boom. So we had an indoor sonic boom. In fact, the sonic boom, and a sonic boom is a very loud noise that can break windows and it can shatter things. Well, it brought down this building. It brought down the shelves and the walls and the ceilings and the floors. The sonic boom was actually more of an effect than the release of pressure. And in fact, the sonic boom that occurred when that gas left that bottle actually shook windows for miles around.
Really?
Yeah.
So people were probably thinking earthquake.
People were, they thought there was the space shuttle was coming in. Because around here, when you get a sonic boom, that's what we always hear.
It was always,
when the space shuttle comes in. So they thought, wait a minute, the space shuttle hasn't been flying in years. Why are we getting a sonic boom?
Why are you getting one now?
Yeah. And planes have been restricted from flying this.
And you were here at the time that it happened, right?
No, I was
You were not home. You were at home.
Yeah, I was sleeping.
I'm sure that was a nice wake-up call.
Yeah, I got a call from a friend who just saw it on TV.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
and see, I grew up on I grew up on an Air Force base, and I've heard that. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, you'd sit there and you'd feel the window shake every now and then. One of them decided he was going to play a hot shot. But I just cannot imagine just the sheer, especially in an enclosed space.
Yeah.
And it's actually a miracle it didn't do more damage than what it did.
Yeah.
That's one thing to be very grateful about.
Yeah, the fact that it didn't level the building. But so Andrea's putting this room back together for us, we put back up the shelves, and she's gotten all the stuff that used to be in here just was in one big pile.
Mm-hmm.
So she's been spending some time sorting it out and meticulously going through it and trying to figure out what everything is. And she's found a lot of cool stuff. There's a dog. She finds her spot.
They always do.
Yeah, and that piano has a lot to do with the Rock-afire explosion. Because before that piano, I found that piano in 1979,
Mm-hmm.
we were putting tones on tape to control animation with. And it was very difficult to control a lot of movements with tones on tape, because we could only put like 5 tones on a track of tape.
Yeah.
So that means if you want to control 200 movements, what do you got, 40 tracks of tape? How are you going to do that? Well, I was ganging tape decks together.
Yeah.
So that I could get more tracks.
So that way you could get more.
Yeah. But when I saw that piano. Next. So we'll see this one next. In this room here, we have back here the last and only Hard Luck Bear show that I know about. I bought this back from a customer in 1983 because I thought that someday I'd have a museum and I'd want this show in my museum.
Mm-hmm.
And in this show we have the 4 boys that are brothers, the Billy brothers, and we have Billy Wilbur, Billy Bob, Billy Bill, and Billy Boy, the piano player. And this was actually the forerunner of Billy Bob, and his name was Billy Wilbur. And even his face and everything was the forerunner of the Billy Bob face. Even though you can hardly see it anymore,
Mm-hmm.
that actually was. But you can see from his body shape and everything, this was actually the forerunner of the Billy Bob character. And I did his voice, the same voice I use for Billy Bob now as the voice I used for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they played in a little band. Their mama was on one stage, and they were on the middle stage. And their mama was Mama Grandbags. And Mama Grandbags just had one request of these boys before she left, and she said, "Do not play that honky-tonk music. That stuff ain't got no culture." She wanted them to play cultured music, and they assured her that they would play cultured music. Then her curtain would close, and she'd leave, and then the boys would immediately start playing that honky-tonk music. And then she'd come back, and she'd catch them playing honky-tonk, and all hell would break loose.
And see, I can tell by your various characters through the the evolution from the beginning to basically the I guess you'd say the end. You see elements from transitioning from one, because I see chunks of Mitzi right
Mm-hmm.
there. I see chunks of Billy Bob here. I see chunks of Rolf here and there.
It's the melting moose. And as you can see, over the years, his face started melting, and it dripped onto that TV, and it dripped onto that table. And it was just a sad, heartbreaking, disgusting thing until everybody started coming in here and thinking, I gotta see the melting moose. And it became an attraction in and of itself. It became more of an attraction as a melting moose than it ever was as a working moose.
As a working moose.
And here's his friend, the melting buffalo. Now there's his eye. Does that eye look like that eye that we saw in that mold last night, Andrea?
Yes.
Does that look like the right size? It still doesn't look as big, but I guess it is.
I think the melting mouth definitely is it's creepy looking.
Yeah, it's creepy.
It's creepy looking.
And I was talking about that movie that rented these characters
Mm-hmm.
from me. They loved this. This was one of their favorite things. So when that cat's running through that warehouse, that abandoned warehouse with all the destruction, this melting moose is in there. So they actually took this down.
Wow.
Painstakingly took this down, and they took the TV and the table. So it's all part of the movie. Can't wait to see that.
Or when I see those, I always think of various iterations of the Starship Enterprise.
Yeah, this was our Starship Enterprise room, the boardroom. And it's funny, I get different reactions from people. Some kids will come in here, and when I say kids, I mean like 25, 30-year-old people. They come in here, and they look at this, and they go, whoa, this looks like my grandmother's basement. Because back back in the 80s, the early 80s, everybody was paneling their basements. And this is the paneling that they would use.
Yep.
So,
my mother's house had a ton of it till about 2 years ago.
but I want to tell you something. This stuff holds up.
Oh, I know.
Look at this.
It's terrifying how well it holds up.
This stuff really holds up, and it looked to us, it looked like wood.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays it just looks like paneling, but back in the old days it looked like wood. And this room was destroyed. I mean, this ceiling had come down. The whole ceiling was down. We had to painstakingly put this place back together and clean it. The floor was a mess. We had 30 years of dirt that was up there. It was now down here, and it was on everything. So I had to go through everything and just clean it all out. But we did put the room back together, thank heavens. And look, these are the anti-gravity freedom machines I was telling you about.
And I think that is you had almost the foresight. It's like you were thinking way ahead of the game.
Well, I needed a way to communicate with 200 restaurants. Up until the idea of the anti-gravity freedom machine, the only way we could communicate with the restaurants was by telephone. We didn't even have fax machines back then. So we had to get on the phone and call them for everything that we wanted to talk to them about, which was very arduous.
And that's just an awesome.
She likes to make herself comfortable everywhere.
I'm gonna grab a drink. Do you guys want anything?
Yeah, how about you? Do you want anything there, Ben?
If you got water, that's fine.
You know what? I've got little short colas. So, like, there's RC Cola, and there's RC, what do I have, A&W root beer?
RC's fine.
I mean, let's see, we have colas, A&W root beer, what do we have?
Do we have the small cans of
Coors.
cola? I think
Well, this room here has all the molds in it of the characters and the parts and the pieces that we make of the characters, the rubber parts. And we're still going through here and trying to find new molds all the time, or molds that we either thought we lost, we didn't know where they were. And but all the faces of the characters are here, and all the little pieces and parts are here.
So in theory, if somebody wants a brand new mask and you don't have one that's already made, you can.
Yes.
Obviously for a price.
Yes. Right. And we are laying up new masks all the time. You're a little embarrassing.
I'm sorry.
Here's the mold.
Wow.
And you would think, well, gosh, if it's sitting right here, how come you had trouble finding it? It wasn't sitting right here. It was, where was it, Andrew? Was it here?
it was on that shelf right there.
On that shelf, okay. Then it was turned around, so we couldn't get to it. It's pretty heavy, so and it's locked in because the size of the thing is so big. It's got a big thing snout going on the inside, so big that we couldn't really get it off that shelf to turn it around and see what it was. But it actually had a mask, still cosmetics for her. I definitely want to put her on my show upstairs.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's in the box behind her.
Yeah, it is. But left, right, up, down, and his body turns, and we've got all the same movements over here. Body turns and leans back and forth. So he could play a full drum set with these arms, but it's going to take a lot to program it, a lot to figure out how to do this. But this is really if I didn't have anything else to do, this is really what I would like to be spending my time doing, is figuring out how to make this guy play the drum.
And you've got 4 of them.
I've got 4 of them because when we were building one, I gave the instructions to my machinist that every time you build one part, whether it's this part or this part, every time you build a part, make 4 of them. Because it doesn't take that much longer to build 4 as it does to build 1. So it's just a theory, and it worked. And so I ended up with four second-generation Dukes. And more speculative ventures here. There's the Wizard of Oz Scarecrow and the Tin Man. And the Bad Tree. And you can see the Bad Tree has definitely decayed and melted and gotten all screwed up. Of course, that meant that it was a major find for the movie. So this did end up in the movie.
Wow.
So all the stuff that I thought was garbage and would need a lot of repair did end up having some value to somebody.
Now I have to ask you this. I'm sorry, sweetie. I just keep running
of characters that has never been removed from crates here.
I'm gonna go run upstairs and charge my battery.
So these definitely have So for you, this is very sentimental then, to be the last one, or?
Well, yeah, I guess so. Sentimental isn't exactly the right word because I've seen so many crates of characters, but I'm not letting this one go cheap. I'm going to let this particular show go at the same price it's sold in the Showbiz Pizza Place for, or it stays right here. And I definitely don't want to just give it away to somebody who's just going to just throw it away or stick it in a trailer.
Yeah.
I want it to go in a restaurant. I want it to go in an operation, and I want to be the one that maintains it, because it is my objective that this show go someplace good, someplace that has some money, and someplace that'll keep it up. So, because I know these shows will last forever if you keep them up.
Yeah.
So that's what my goal is for this. It won't be sentimental to release it. Only I just want to make sure it has the right path.
Of the Wolf. Yeah, and I'm Earl Schmarl. And we're coming at you live and in person here from Showbiz Pizza Place, and it's our pleasure to do the next introduction.
Can the pleasure stuff and let's just get on with the introduction, Rolf.
Okay. As we've been saying today, it's time for our Monkees medley. Yes, the Monkees, one of the greatest rock and roll groups of our time, is here today to do...
Rolf. The Monkees aren't rock and roll group of our time. They was here a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. I know that, Earl. I know that. And the Monkees have this really great TV show.
No, Rolf. They used to have a great TV show. The Monkees are all grown up now and they're doing other things, like selling real estate.
I know, Earl. But suppose you'd like to do this introduction.
Yeah, okay, well, there's something Rolf didn't tell you. One of the Monkees, named Michael Nesmith, is now also working in video, like you see on MTV. So they're all pretty good guys. They're selling real estate and doing video productions and stuff like that. So, here's the Rock-afire Explosion with our version of Monkees, 1983 style.
My whole purpose of this video is to personally say thank you to Aaron Fector. Aaron, thank you for your gracious hospitality. Thank you for showing me around. I had a blast. I got a chance to relive a lot of happy childhood memories for just a little while, and you know what? It's the best birthday present anybody could have gave me. So, Aaron, once again, thank you so much. And to everyone else, videos in the next week or so, just keep watching, and as always, guys, I can't tell y'all enough. Thanks for watching.